Hello, Dr. Barnes.
Hello there.
And welcome to talking about ADUs.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And the main thing about this video that we would like to highlight is the creation of your new ebook.
Yes.
Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The title of the book is How Smart Realtors Make More Money with Accessory Dwelling Units.
Yes.
Otherwise known as ADUs.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful that you've got that much knowledge to write a book. And I'm sure folks are going to be interested out there, to know
I hope so.
and understand how the process of getting an ADU transpires. Okay, so let's jump right in and start talking about this. You told us that ADUs are gaining a lot of ground.
Yes.
And that there's a lot of attention being paid to them these days. How do you see realtors playing a significant role in the evolving market?
Yes, that was really the question that brought me to write the book, because earlier this year I attended several different events with the movers and shakers in the ADU arena and so forth, and I had my first big aha moment at one of the first California events with the ADU Academy in San Diego back in March. And the aha moment was how much appraisers and lenders are leaning on realtors for information. Okay, right now, one of the prominent appraisers in the area and trainers said that what they are employing right now is to reach out to realtors who have sold property that have secondary units on them. So not all secondary units are accessory dwelling units. They don't meet the standard, the legal standard. So they're reaching out to realtors who are boots on the ground, seeing these facilities, seeing these structures, working with buyers and sellers, and asking them questions to see if they can gain some information as to whether they're ADUs, whether they're just room additions, and that type of thing. And we're, as realtors, I am a licensed realtor as well, we call a banker at this time, and people are looking to realtors to get the information in the future about the accessory dwelling unit market, help with the pricing, the comps, the regulations, and so forth. And there's a lot of information out there, a plethora of information about how to build an ADU that's geared towards homeowners and investors. And there's a lot of information for contractors and people on how to meet the technical requirements and help build the ADU. So you got the homeowner building and the contractor and architects and everything, but the realtors are left out. They're like penning for gold now to find out how do we fit in. And the only way that we really fit in up until this point is if we're lucky enough to get someone to list their property for sale with us and they have a secondary unit, or they have buyers who say, hey, I want to buy a property and I want it big enough to build an ADU if it doesn't already have one.
Wow, I see. And the thing is about it, I don't know how realtors are being left behind, because it sounds like you have a lot of knowledge and key points that you understand within the industry.
Yes, and it came up because I was working on my business and I was taking a class. I was a member and vice president at the time of the African American, the Black Chamber of Commerce Inland Empire. And they came in and they offered us an opportunity to go to a workshop by these founders first out of San Diego to participate in a cohort to make our business better. So I went there and I happened to be sitting next to a fellow member and also a past legal client of mine who was a serial entrepreneur. She's opened up fitness centers, retail shops, restaurants and everything. But she told me about a friend of hers who was helping homeowners in Los Angeles convert their detached detached garages into
Right,
ADUs.
yes.
And the company she was working for at the time was doing it at no cost to the homeowner. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what we need. I mean, in the Inland Empire, we have some of the biggest lots. We have challenges with credit and everything. I mean, if we can help people convert their garages into these living units, this would be fantastic. And so I took the opportunity in that course to start focusing on ADUs, and that's been over 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yes, indeed. It's interesting how you emphasize the term Realtor ADU revolution. Explain to me a little bit about that.
Well, in conjunction with doing the ebook, How Smart Realtors Are Making More Money with Accessory Dwelling Units, I decided to form a community on Facebook for realtors. Because again, there was nothing, I found very little of anything focusing on realtors. And so I decided to call it the Realtor ADU Revolution. The ADU revolution has been going on for years, and I know some of my colleagues and people out there are looking like, what does she talk about, a revolution? But yeah, the accessory dwelling unit revolution has been going on for a while now. However, again, because of the lack of information and support geared towards realtors out of the real estate perspective, it's a time to call the realtors into the revolution specifically. And so I wanted the realtors and real estate professionals to know that this was a call to them to start paying more attention, because this is an evolving area, and we're going to be front line real soon here.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, definitely.
And you said earlier about how the realtors have been left out. Is because up until this point, the accessory dwelling units that are being built, most of them do not go into the real estate market for sale right away. People are building them for their parents,
Family,
for adult children,
yes.
for retirement. They're not selling, and there's a ban currently, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But right now, you cannot sell an accessory dwelling unit without selling the main house.
Right.
And so, because the ADU has not been in itself part of the main buy and sell transaction for a realtor, except as a secondary unit maybe on the property, we haven't paid much attention to it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point, because someone might get into building a unit or restructuring a unit on the property and thinking, oh, I can sell this and make some money and pay my mortgage off. That's good to know right now. Yes, that's good. Your ebook covers a lot of ground, from understanding the ADU development process to effective client management. Can you highlight a particular section that realtors often find most valuable?
Well, the one that came out the most was the section where I talk about detrimental reliance. And this was something that really just got in my spirit. That really was another nugget while I decided to write the book. Is because I've been working. I'm CEO of ADU Advantage, where I work with homeowners on building ADUs.
Yes.
And like I said, also a licensed realtor. But working with project management on ADUs, I find myself at different agencies, county and city agencies, getting information with my clients on accessory dwelling units and so forth. But this one particular time, I was at a county facility, and I encountered a gentleman who came in, and he was very anxious and upset, and he just had this issue. And in communicating with him, what I found out was that he had bought a property that he believed had an accessory dwelling unit on it, had an ADU. And his conversation just went that the seller and the realtor told me that this casita was permitted. that it was permitted. Now I started to do some renovations on my property, and I got this notice that it's not permitted. And the realtor and the seller said it was permitted, and he was just really animated and upset. And so I'm like, okay, so my ears went up because as a realtor, okay, and I hear what he's saying. And I know they're always saying when we do our real estate transactions, you know, we're not lawyers, and I'm not practicing law anymore. I do real estate transactions not as an attorney, but as a realtor. And so it's like, don't give out legal advice. They said, you know, you don't give out legal advice. No, we don't. But the people need to understand that the words we say, knowingly or unknowingly, people rely on them, can still get sued.
Exactly.
So detrimental reliance is just you telling me something that I rely on to take action. But for you reassuring me, I would not have gone through. I don't care how many papers I signed.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I would not, and everything regarding real estate must be in writing.
Yes.
However, I still am dealing with a person, and I'm listening to you, and you told me it was permitted. Okay? And the seller told me it was permitted. And that gave me the assurance that if I went through, I would be able to do what I intended to do, which I let you know that I want to rent it out and do all this other stuff. And so here this gentleman was constantly repeating, the seller and the realtor told me that this casita was permitted. And the first thing that happened when he finally got to the counter with the representative there, he said, I just need to know whether this casita is permitted. I got this notice it wasn't permitted, and the seller and the buyer told me it was when I bought it. And the gentleman replied,